Welcome to howtopam, LibreCad tutorial number 2. Getting familiar with the application's interface. Okay, so let's open up, now that we have it installed, let's open up LibreCad and let's have a look around here. When you first open up LibreCad, this is the way it opens. You'll have some buttons up top here, and you'll have some tools down the side here, and you'll have some snap settings along the bottom here, and on this side you'll have docs and a command line here. These are your layers. You'll have a block list. You'll have a library. LibreCAD comes with a library of certain blocks that can be inserted into a drawing. And here is your block list. When you load a block, it will show up here, and then these are the tools that allow you to manage that block, to save it, to insert it into your drawing or whatever. Here is your layer list. Okay, all these docs are available through the widget button. You can see here there's doc areas. You can say you want it on the left over here, or the right here, or up on the top, or down on the bottom, or you can have it floating. Okay, that's doc areas. The second button is the actual docs that we've got loaded over here on the right. Okay, so these are activated, and we can remove them by turning them off. We can turn them on or off in that way. We can also turn them on or off here, or by right-clicking with your mouse on this area. Again, we have the same capabilities. Okay, we have the toolbars here, and we have the dock widgets, the same buttons here. Okay, so this is your widget area. Mine's on the right. You might prefer yours over here on the left. Not a big deal. Again, you can look at all of the buttons. Here's zooming, and here's a zoom window. We'll look at that later. Let's just get familiar with the tools. That's the previous view. If you've zoomed, you can go back to the previous view that you had before you zoomed. There's auto zoom, zoom in, zoom out. There's to redraw. Sometimes you want to refresh your drawing. Some of the lines aren't showing properly. You click the redraw to have it redraw. There is the grid. That's all these little buttons here. You see, we turn it on or off if we like. Okay, here is a paste, here is a copy, here is a cut. We can highlight something, cut it out. We can copy something, we can paste something. Redo, selection pointer, undo. Okay, if we happen to delete something, we can undo that. If we decide we still want it deleted, we could redo the delete. Okay, there's a print preview. Here's your print buttons. Here's your save, your open. Here's new from a template, and new. Now here are your tools. Now the first tool here is a line, and in the line are all your straight lines, line with an angle. You can get familiar with it. Rectangle, parallel lines, all sorts of lines. Circles are all under the circle button. Here we have the spline lines with arcs. Here we have the ellipses. Here we have the polylines. Here we have the select and deselect options. Okay, we can select or deselect things. Here we have the dimensions. Okay, aligned, linear, horizontal. Now, here we have the modification tools. So if we want to modify some line or some attribute or some properties, we can do that through here. Attributes, properties, all through the modification. This is the measurement tool to measure certain things. This is to add text. This is your hatches. This is to insert an image. This is to create a block, and here is a point where we can add points to a drawing. Okay, down along here we have the snap tools, and we'll look at how to use those productively. And there are all certain different types of snaps that will be advantageous in certain places. This is to set your 0. Now this red X here is 0, 0 mark. However, if we're drawing something and everything is centered off of our drawing, we may want to move our 0 point to the center of our drawing and then measure everything out from that particular center when we move the center. And these buttons here will allow us to change the layout slightly, okay, depending on how we would like. That turns off there. Okay, we can turn on this one here, turn that off if you want. Okay, all these are still available, of course, through the buttons up top here. There is our widgets back on there. Now the command line, you don't actually have to see the cursor flashing in there. You don't need that. Okay, if there's no cursor and you type on your keyboard, it still makes an entry even though the cursor was not flashing, so that's okay. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, if we wish to add layers, we can go ahead and add layers in this box. The first layer opened is always 0, and often you may not want to use that layer, or you may want to use it as a construction layer. You can simply rename it and use it if you like. To add layers, we would just click the add button, give it a name, and it's not going to be a construction layer, so we won't click that button. Here we have colors. If you want, you can use a color. If you'd like a custom color, you can choose whatever you like. Okay, and here's your line width. Okay, so you can choose the width of the line you like, and whether it's continuous or whether it's dot, tiny, large, small, dash, dot, dash, dash, whatever type of line you would like is in here. A border line. Okay, and then press the OK button, and here you are with your layer that you've added. These buttons here will allow you to edit the attributes if you like, or as long as you're highlighted, you can edit the layer from here. See, there we go there. Okay, so we said that we wanted a custom color, so we chose something like that. Okay, and We said okay to that. Let's do that again. Let's take magenta. Okay, and there we are there with magenta. Okay, you can turn these layers on and off from these buttons here. You can lock these layers. All your layer functions are available from here. If you wish to get rid of a layer, then you could actually remove that layer just by clicking this, and the layer and all its entries will be removed. Okay, there we are. Okay, so now if we have numerous layers and a big list down here, we could type which layer we're looking for and it will pull it up to the top for us here. Okay, so we are familiar somewhat with the interface and the buttons and the layout and what some of the buttons do. And here we have layer attributes again in here, just like we had when we set up a layer over here. You'll notice that these attributes are the same attributes that are listed over here. Okay? There is a number of command line shortcuts. You can get familiar with the shortcuts for the command line. Often just 2 letters like that. Okay, TM stands for trim, and then it wants me to select the entity to trim. Now you see my mouse cursor is live, ready to select, but I could right mouse click to deactivate it, or just press the escape key on the keyboard and it's deactivated. Okay, so line could be LI, enter, and there we have here ready to go. Again, we could right click the mouse and it's deactivated the command. Right click on the mouse key or press the escape key and it will deactivate. Again, this is a block list. Up here, there was your layers. Here is your block list. We have no blocks there. Here is the library that LibreCAD comes with. Now, there are some blocks. So if you would like to have a block, some of the libraries are quite extensive, so when you click on them there, okay, there are certain features in blocks here that can be added. You might just choose a block like the cylinder and choose insert. Okay, now that doesn't insert it in your drawing until you actually move it to the location of your drawing. Now you can move it to a location with the mouse cursor, or we could write a location like 0, 0. Okay, right click to deactivate. Now if we go back to our block list, we will see that those 3 instances, the first instant, the second instance, and the third instance, has been added to our block list. Okay, let's go back to the library. Let's look at plans. let's look at gasification. Okay, we've got a few symbols here that are blocks. Let's just choose a symbol. This one here would show a valve. Let's insert that. Okay, and you can see it here. We can type in the location where we want it to go or move it with the mouse cursor. Okay. By clicking on the snap here, this is free snap. Just mouse over, free snap. We can move anywhere we want on the drawing. Okay. Now again, press the escape key on your keyboard to deactivate, or right mouse click. Okay. Let's go back to our block list. You can see that block has been added. Okay. So that's how you can get from your library to the block list by inserting. Okay, simply choose the one you want, insert it, it'll come in here. And do you have to place it at the time? No, you do not have to place it at the time that you have it. If I chose another instance like this and pressed insert, now as you can see, I have it right there on my key, on my mouse cursor. If I left mouse click, it will set where I want it. And if I right mouse click, I deactivate. Now we go back and there it is in there. Okay. Now once you've got your blocks loaded, you can certainly choose a block and we can insert this block, and there we go. Okay. Now this block is activated. We could edit the active block. Okay, and that'll jump up there, and we could actually change some features on this. Okay. Now if we go here, and after we edit that block, then we could save the block after we've edited it. So if we wanted to edit certain lines of that block, it's all possible to select it because it is exploded here. Now I've selected all the lines by clicking on them. If I wish to deselect, then I could click one line at a time, or we could go to the selection tools, deselect all, and it's done. Okay. Show all blocks, hide all blocks, remove a block, add a block, insert block, save block. Okay, so we've got the library, we've got the block list, we've got the layer list, and we've got the command line. Okay, so we're quite familiar with many of the options. Under File, of course, you can import a block. If you've got another block that you've saved in another area, you could import an image. Okay. LibreCAD allows you to import an image. Let's say that we wanted to let's say we wanted to put an image in like that. Okay, and we could again, and you'll see that's a very big image. Okay, but we just inserted an image there, and we're going to actually undo that because I don't want it there. Okay, so here's your undo button, and it's gone. Okay, once you've done a little drawing, you can export. Okay, you can export it as a MakerCam SVG or a PDF or an image itself, or you can just save your drawing as it is. Okay, that's probably got us familiar with enough of the interface of LibreCAD that we can actually go ahead and do some drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and just close that out, and I'm going to close the drawing that we had there, and I don't want to save anything, and I'm going to go ahead and quit LibreCAD. Okay, and that is our tutorial for familiarizing ourselves with the interface after the installation of LibreCAD. Thank you for watching this short tutorial by howtopam.